Hello, IML students. We are finishing up part 2 of proper risk management. Please make sure you are paying close attention and make sure you watch this video before you decide to attempt live. Get your pencil, your pen, and let's get ready to learn. Before we get started, here's a little bit about myself. My name is Adeze Duncan, representing iMarkets Live. Some of you may know me from Forex 101 on IML TV. Also, I was an educator for 10 years, and now I'm here educating you on the facts and methods of Forex. In order to get started on this journey, you need to remember one thing and one thing only. I am a student, always. This is very important for you to remember and to remind yourself of often. You will hear me use this phrase frequently as a reminder that you are a student that is learning a skill that will pay you for the rest of your life. Make sure that you take your time and learn what you need to learn. Pace yourself. Do not compare yourself to anyone else's progress. Always keep a winning mind frame and you will do very well in this industry. Here are some videos that I suggest you take a look at before or after you watch this video, just to help you understand the materials that you're learning in this video. Upon finishing this video, you should have a very good understanding of the following questions. Read through them quietly to yourself. As you are taking notes, make sure to pause this video in order to answer these questions. Here is some important vocabulary that you may want to pause the video in order to write down. When you are finished, go ahead and resume. Now let's talk about twin trading and triplet trading. I know Christopher Derrick calls it twin trading. Some people like to do more than just two. Maybe you do three. I call that triplet trading. So that's basically breaking up one trade into multiple trades and using good risk management still. By now, you should have an understanding of how to use a position size calculator. So I have this, and you can take the time to pause and read through all of these little bubbles, okay? So I'm going to give you the scenario. Say you got $1,000, all right? You're using a 3% risk, and you have a 50 pip stop loss. So maybe your trading plan says I won't take anything over 50. So now that means you are now able to make 66 cents per pip. See where it says the lot size? Okay. So you're going to lose $30 if the trade goes bad. How are you going to break this up? Maybe you don't want to just do one trade at 0.066. Maybe you want to break it up. How do you actually do that? So now to use good risk management, the way you would do that is you would take that 0.066 and divide it by 2. If you want to open up 2 positions so that it still totals up to 3% of your account, then you just divide it by 2. So you see how it says GBP, JPY 0.033, 0.033. So that means I'm actually risking 1.5% of my account. Now, if I have 2 of those, I am only risking 3% of my account. That is the good way of doing it. Now, how do a lot of people do it? I want to open up 2 trades. Yay, GBP, JPY, 0.0663% is what you're actually risking. If you open up 2 of them at 0.066, you have actually now, instead of risking 3% on one currency pair, you are now risking 6%. Maybe you didn't mean to do that, but that's not good risk management. If you want to do it the right way, you have to split it up so that the total overall is still 3%. So now here's another scenario, similar situation. I got $1,000. I want to risk 3%. I have a 35. This trade specifically requires that I need 35 pips. Okay. So still, I'm going to lose $30 if it goes bad. I have the ability to make 86 cents per pip. So how do I split this up? 3 ways. It's the same way you did it the last time. You would just take the 0.086 and divide it by 3. So now instead, like Euro USD, let's say I want to do a trade on Euro USD and I wanted 3 positions because I might have some kind of strategy for this. All right. People usually have a strategy for why they do it this way. So let's say I've got Euro USD. What I would do is I divide the 0.086 by 3 and now I get 0.029, which is 1%. So as you see, 3 positions open still totals up to 3%. You can look at the other side, bad way of doing it. A lot of people like to say, I want to open up 3 trades, and boom, they open up 3 at 0.086 or 87. And now instead of risking 3% for that one currency pair, you have now risked 9%. Very bad. There is a reason why I'm very specific to why you shouldn't do it that way. One reason is you definitely want to diversify your portfolio. You do not want to open up 8 trades or at least have 9% of your account in one currency pair. Always keep 3% per currency pair, commodity, whatever it is that you decide to trade. You can have a whole lot of them, but as long as you're risking 3% per type of pair, you're in good shape. So on the next slide, we're going to be analyzing some trades that people have sent in. Now looking at this, first of all, let me set the story for you. Just imagine that this person had a 35 pip stop. Okay, that means their stop loss is set to 35 pips away from their entry. Now, why is this trade bad? Let's look at this because I want you guys to see this. Maybe this looks like you right now. The bad thing is there are too many of the same pair open, all right? If you're going to open up several pairs, then don't go over 4. 4 is actually kind of excessive unless you actually have a strategy. 2 is great. 3 is okay as long as you have a strategy. But 4, and after that, you're just excessive. All right? There should be no more than 4 open at the same time. I already said that. Okay. Need to diversify. The fact that you've got GBP USD and you've got all GBP USD. That's not a very diversified trade. All right. And then almost 30% of your account has been risked. How do I know that? If you look, you see 600 was their balance and they've got what? They have what is that 0.7? If you add all those up, I think that's 7 trades open. So they've got $7 per pip on the line. If you go back to the calculator, you will see how much of their account is 30% that they've just risked. Not good. Okay, the next one. This one has a 45 pip stop. We're just pretending. I don't really know. All right. So what's bad about this one? They've risked 6% in each of those trades. Euro NZD, GBP NZD, all of those that I got up there. They risked 6%. They should be risking 3% on each of those trades. The next thing, there's too many NZD pairs. They need to diversify more. I'm going to talk to you about correlated pairs, guys. You don't want to be in too many of the same types of pairs. If you got all NZD, they all get affected pretty much the same way. So go off to something else that doesn't have NZD. If you got a lot of USD pairs, then go branch off into something else. All right. Now, what is good about this? It is diversified. They did try to diversify. There's good risk management on the USD JPY, USD CAD, and Euro USD. They've only risked 1.3% on each of those. So that's good. We're getting somewhere. All right, so now this one, 35 pip stop. What's bad? Well, there's nothing actually horrible. I did put semi-bad. They risked 4% on USD Chef. Sure, you can do that. Sure, you can do 4%, but 3% is best. And then 3.7% risk on Euro USD. Now, what's good? They are not significantly over leveraged. If you don't know what I mean, go watch the video about lots and leverage. And there's a lot of room to open up more trades. Okay, look at the margin level percent. It's very high. Go check out the video, your trading window, and that will explain more. So that's good. They're not anywhere close to blowing their account. Overall, getting very good now. We're getting better. Now, again, 35 pip stop required for this one. What's semi-bad? They actually could stand to risk more. They're doing so well, they could actually stand to risk more. There's a lot of positive correlated pairs, meaning when I say positive correlated pairs, they have a lot of pairs that move the same way. For example, they've got Euro USD in there, and they've got AUD USD, and they got NZD USD. And if they're going up, if you place the buy in all of them and they're going up, all of them are going to go up. If you place a sell and they go down, all of them are going to going down because they are correlated in a positive way, which means they go in the same direction. They move similar. You move, when I move, you move. Okay? All right, you got it. All right, good. What's good? Not significantly over leveraged. Lots of room to open up more trades. Very high margin level percent. Now, what do I actually mean by correlated pairs? Here's a slide. I kind of talked about it already, but they are pairs that have very similar movements in the same direction. All right. If you are not intentional about this, you can actually unintentionally increase your risk. For example, if you bought both the Euro and the Euro USD and the GBP USD, you're pretty much buying the same type of trade. They're both UK types of currencies, and they both move the same direction and they both move very similar. So be very mindful of the pairs you're buying. If you buy Euro USD, then go buy GBP JPY. That way you can diversify it a lot better. You might want to pause this or screenshot this. You know, this is just a slide uncorrelated pairs. On one side, you see the side that we would call positive. So Euro USD and GBP USD, or Euro USD and NZD. You get it. You can read. All right. And then there's the other side that don't move together. This is where you would want to try to, you know, branch off. So if you buy Euro USD, then go and buy, or go and, you know, do something different. Go use USD Chef and, you know, draw your analysis on that. Something else very major in risk management is your risk to reward ratio. Okay, obviously we're all in this for the win, but a lot of times people just jump into a trade and don't pay any kind of attention to what it's costing them. Is it going to cost you more money to take the trade than what you're actually going to gain? That's why I got on one side bad. All right. What you at least want is, okay, if it's going to cost me 10 pips or $10 to get in, I at least got to be making $10 or more. Okay. Now you can see this would be obviously better. Okay. The most best, you know, situation that you could get into is having a very low risk and very high reward. That would be amazing. So here's an example of a risk to reward. Ratio should always be greater than or equal to a 1-to-1. So here's my little chart. You got 35 pips, all right? So that's what you would be risking. You're risking 35 pips in order to go and gain 15 pips. That's not good. You're at like a 0.42 to 1. Really bad. You're like, yeah, not good. Don't even take that. It's not worth your time. All right. The next one, 35 pips you're risking to go and get 35 pips. That's a 1-to-1. Great. There's 35 pips to 70 pips. Perfect. That's even better. Now, let me go ahead and say this. Be very careful, because a lot of times you want to be like, hey, well, I want a nice high risk to reward ratio. So what do? Then you're like, okay, this trade, I'm going to, you know, I'll risk 35 to get 200. But guys, you know that trade only moves like 35 pips at a time. So don't fool yourself into thinking that I'm going to increase my risk to reward ratio when you really know that thing only moves like 35 pips. I've done this. I got burnt. Okay. Don't do that. If certain pairs only move a certain amount per day, like GBP, JPY, that sucker moves crazy amounts. So you can expect a higher risk to reward ratio on that one. But like an NZD USD or USD JPY type of pair, those move very chill, like 35 at a time. So don't try to set a very high risk to reward just to show that you have a high risk to reward. It's all about what do you recoup. Something else you want to be mindful of, guys, in your risk to reward, most people forget about this bad boy, is the spread. Remember, the spread is the commission we pay our broker, and it changes throughout the day. You see that little 2.1? A lot of times you can see this in your trading window. It'll just show like 2.1 or 5.6, or during terrible times, it might be like 100. Okay, so make sure that you factor this in. If you are saying, I want to risk 3% of my account, don't forget, you got to pay that spread first. So if you lose, you're going to lose the 3% plus your spread. So that's going to increase your risk percent. And lastly, guys, the most important thing that you can possibly do for proper risk management is get a journal and form a trading plan. Okay, there's perfectly great online journals like MyFXBook. That's a great place to go. MyFXBook.com. This thing keeps track of all of your wins and losses. And this go on to the next video in this series. Thank you so much.